2017 City Commissioner candidates race. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Community Watch. Greg.
Doc.
So you are pumped for the election. I know you are.
I am.
Yeah.
I like, to me an election is democracy at work. And I like the exercise of that. I like to see people run. I think it takes a lot of courage, and so I'm excited during election time because it represents hope to me, you know, hope for possible difference.
Well, we are interviewing candidates for Rome City Commission Ward 2. There are 3 seats on Ward 2, and we have 6 candidates for those 3 seats. So we've been interviewing candidates, and we've got a few to go. So first candidate in this segment is Monica Sheppard, and here she is.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Well,
Happy to be here.
Started.
We'll get started. Can you define the responsibilities of a Rome City Commissioner?
Can I define the responsibilities? Well, the responsibilities as I see it are to help lead our city into a healthy and prosperous future.
All right. So, if you are elected, what is one goal you want to achieve as city commissioner?
Well, I think that one thing that I am passionate about is supporting and encouraging more small business and helping create an atmosphere in which they can thrive and create a strong economy and strong quality of life to attract industry and that sort of thing, and visitors, because I think we have a lot to offer to folks who want to come and have fun in a beautiful, quaint, and amazing town.
Okay, a recent U.S. census placed African Americans and Hispanic residents of Rome at over 40% of the population. Do the city boards and committees reflect these numbers? How can the city do a better job at placing more minorities on its board and commissions?
Well, I think we do a decent job, but not a perfect job. And I think that encouraging people to run, you know, I am completely new at this, and a friend of mine encouraged me that I should get involved in politics, and this was the thing that I felt like I had the most passion for. But it was a hard decision to make. You know, it was a hard thing to imagine putting myself out there. And so I think that creating a system that makes that a little more approachable for folks who may not feel that they could do the job would go a long way to helping that.
All right. The current SPLOST proposal includes an $8 million ag center. Do you support this project, not knowing its operational budget, and will you include maintenance of the facility within your operational budget, or will you support a future SPLOST to provide renovation and maintenance?
This is a sticking point for me on the SPLOST. I love the SPLOST as an opportunity to create new projects and things that are very beneficial for our town. I have never liked the fact that we do 5-year windows for these, because it creates a long list of projects, and it is very difficult to predict the cost of a project 5 years away, and in some cases even longer. And so I would love, if elected, to see us switch to shorter windows and shorter lists and create a little bit better accountability. I am concerned about how we can expect accountability on a project that we don't even know where it's going to go and that sort of thing. Do I think it could be beneficial? Yeah, I do. I think it has a lot of promise, but I'm concerned about how little we know about what it will cost. I'm concerned about the fact that we don't really have a way of proving that it will not cost us money, as they have suggested. So I kind of think that it probably will end up costing us money, and I'm concerned about that. So yeah, that's a sticking point for me. Although I do plan to support the SPLOST and do support the SPLOST because I think it's a good way of making these things happen, and there's some really good projects on there. So yeah.
Appraisers are saying that property values are down in some Rome neighborhoods because of the high percentage of rental properties, and they are recommending not to make home improvements. Can anything be done to support homeowners in the city?
They're recommending not to do home improvements. What do you mean by that?
I'm just reading the question. I'm not sure.
You're not sure what you mean by that. Well, as a renter, you know, I'm happy that I'm able to rent a nice little house that's just right for me, and that all of that. I don't know how to answer that question, since I'm not really sure what the suggesting not doing home improvements mean. I mean, my landlord and I both do improvements on my house on a regular basis, so I'm not sure what that means, I guess.
Okay. While Rome's Main Street, Broad Street, has been on several best lists, Rome has also been named among the most dangerous cities in Georgia. What can be done to change this?
Yeah, I saw that, and I was very surprised about it, because I feel very safe here, and especially downtown. I feel that we have a very strong police presence, and we've had some things happen, but I feel that we are a very safe community. I personally think that it would be nice to have some walking police on Broad Street that are engaging with people, and you know, maybe helping improve the persona, I guess you could say, and the relationship that people have with the police. And I think that kind of thing goes a long way towards improving the way that folks feel about the police and the importance of them in the community. So I don't know. I think education is the key as well, making sure that we are teaching people how to do good things with their lives, and keeping them busy and active, that sort of thing.
Over the past several years, the Rome, Florida Recycling Center has stopped accepting some kind of plastic, glass, and other materials. Why are we seeing these limitations when our Bartow County neighbors continue to accept glass?
I didn't realize they were still accepting it in Bartow, but I know a lot of communities had to give up accepting glass because it's become expensive to process it, because you know, back in the day when you would leave bottles for refunds, they would come in clean, and they didn't have a lot of paper labeling and stuff like that. And nowadays there's a lot of cleanup involved, and separation and all of that. And so it has become cost prohibitive, which I think is terrible, because glass is one of the slowest things to break down. Even I was surprised to learn that. But so yeah, that's one of the things that I want to figure out a solution to, and I didn't realize they were still accepting it in Bartow County, but I've looked into a bunch of other communities that are also eliminating that. And so I do want to see us getting back to a broader acceptance of stuff at the recycling center. Yeah.
Okay. Please explain the benefit of entering into a contract with Paper Recovery to handle the city's recycling materials. How much will this contract cost the city of Rome each year?
I don't know the numbers on that, so I can't answer that specifically. You know, that's one of the things that I plan to look into, because I do want to see us doing better. And so if that is a way that helps us be more efficient and accept more, you know, then I'm all for it, but I don't know the details of it. So.
Are you satisfied with the city transit system? Would you support a bus line going to Georgia Highlands campus to assist Rome students who have transportation needs?
I would, and I'm interested in the transit system because I'm not sure that we are using it most efficiently and most productively. And so I would like to see that. I think that's a perfect example of something that would help people be more successful having that access. So yes.
Okay. Do you believe that the city of Rome is doing enough to protect its historic buildings and areas on the National Register and within the designated historic districts of the city?
I think we do a good job with that. I think that it's contentious. Some people get frustrated by it. I think that I think it's important to our community because that is a big part of our rich offerings here in Rome is our history and our historic buildings and that sort of thing. So yes, I think that it's a good thing, and I think we do a good job with it, but I know that there's some things we could smooth the edges on a little bit maybe.
Do you feel that a substantial number of low-income or minority Romans have a lack of trust for local government? If so, what might be done to help solve this problem?
I think that unfortunately we all have a lack of trust of government these days. And it is heartbreaking to me how contentious we have become where government issues are concerned. And my campaign slogan is building community together because I think that we are killing ourselves with our constant debate and argument and that sort of thing. And I want to do everything that I can to get us to a place where we are seeing this as a joint effort and working together to create a better Rome.
Okay. How would you suggest increasing the participation of young people in the process of local government and also encouraging them to vote?
Well, one of the first things that we did when I decided to run for office is my daughter and several of her friends put on a register to vote party. And with the idea that they had all graduated from high school and had reached 18 and were heading off to college, and it would be an easy thing for them to let slide with their college schedules. And so we wanted to get them all together and say, hey, let's go ahead and take care of this so that you can have a voice, you know. And, you know, that would appear that I was doing that just to get some votes for myself, but that, you know, to me is very important that we get the young people involved because they are the future of this town, and the way that we teach them about how the government works goes a long way towards reducing the mistrust and the misunderstanding and all of that. And so I am all about getting kids involved, and we had I serve on the Alcohol Control Commission, and we had a college class come recently, and it was fascinating hearing the things that they thought about and had to say about the issues that were on the table for the Alcohol Control Commission that day. And I think that, you know, that is something that we as grown-ups need to be paying more attention to, is how they are seeing different issues and how they are seeing the government and their relationship with the government. So,
should Rome's mayor be elected by the citizens of Rome rather than selected by the commissioners?
Oh, I hadn't considered that. Yeah, I'd be open to that. I think that would be an interesting way of handling that. Yeah.
If elected, would you be willing to have town hall meetings with citizens in the area you represent in order to discuss upcoming controversial issues? And are there other ways that you plan to communicate with your constituents?
I am all for any form of conversation. And in fact, hope to plan some things leading up to the election, because I want to know what people are concerned about and what they're thinking about. I mean, if we're not there to represent them, then what are we there for? And so I think it's interesting on the national level, you know, the idea of eliminating those kinds of conversations, because I think that they're critical to the job. I mean, you've got to know what your constituents are wanting and thinking. So yes, absolutely.
Well, that ends our series of questions. So thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Monica Sheppard.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And we'll be right back with another candidate after this break. Stay with us.
My college offers classes that meet my educational and career goals.
With opportunities outside the classroom.
Where the faculty know me by name.
My college can prepare me for my career.
I can earn an associate's degree and transfer credits toward my bachelor's.
My college is a state college within the university system of Georgia.
My college is affordable.
It's close to home.
My college has online opportunities.
It's where excellence begins.
We are
GHC, Georgia Highlands College.
Welcome back to Community Watch. Our next candidate for Rome City Commission is Randy Quick. Welcome.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Appreciate you being here.
All right, Ms. Quick, can you define the responsibilities of a Rome City Commissioner?
Well, the Rome City Commission is the governing body of the city. I mean, we hire the city manager, and then we are in cooperation with the city manager to make sure that policies are set and carried out.
All right. If you are elected, what is one goal you want to achieve as city commissioner?
Jobs. I think that right now that has to be the main focus of everything we do in this area. We need to make sure that we're providing good quality jobs for the young people as they graduate and are able to stay in this area and make a difference. One of the things that I'm very, very encouraged about is we do have a great deal of technical training that's going on in this area that is enabling us to provide a workforce and a qualified workforce for industries and manufacturing businesses that are looking to relocate. So if we work in cooperation with all of the entities, the county, the Chamber of Commerce, the Economic Development Authorities, and then provide that good quality workforce, I think that that's going to be a good positive way to move forward in this community.
All right, a recent U.S. Census placed African American and Hispanic residents of Rome at over 40% of the population. Do the city boards and committees reflect these numbers? How can the city do a better job at placing more minorities on its board and commissions?
I think that's always going to be, diversity is going to be the way that we're able to govern properly. We've got to have the proper diversity on all boards and all different areas of this governmental body in this community. Whether it's any of the smaller boards that are represented through the commission and all of that aspect right there, we've got to make sure that we represent the diversity of this community in all aspects.
All right. The current SPLOST proposal includes an $8 million ag center. Do you support this project, not knowing its operational budget, and will you include maintenance of the facility within your operational budget, or will you support a future SPLOST to provide renovation and maintenance?
That's a good question right there, because I still have questions as to how all of those activities of that particular project are going to take place. It is a situation where we do need to have a determined location. We need to know exactly how it's going to be run, who's going to be the managing authorities, and all of that aspect right there to make sure that this is done properly. As to the future of it, I'll be honest with you, right now I think that we have to pass this one and then move forward and see how we have to work it.
Appraisers are saying that property values are down in some Rome neighborhoods because of the high percentage of rental properties, and they are recommending not to make home improvements. Can anything be done to support homeowners in the city?
One of the things that is going to be something that I want to focus on is, you're absolutely right. Sometimes the property owners are not maintaining some of these rental properties the way that they should be done. And we need to make sure that the focus of this area is on every community represented in the city of Rome. We need to make sure that there aren't communities allowed to deteriorate and create bad living conditions for anyone in this area. It is going to be very, very important that we look at the overall picture of the city limits of Rome and focus on making sure that all areas are accounted for properly.
All right. While Rome Rome's Main Street, which is Broad Street, has been on several best lists. Rome has also been named among the most dangerous cities in Georgia. What can be done to change this?
One of the things right now is the city police department are operating about 12 people short of what they should be operating. We need to, as a commission, as a community, support the police department to make sure that they're getting qualified people on the force. We do have a great downtown area, and I'm very, very proud of what Broad Street has been able to develop through the years, and we're the envy of many, many communities with the occupancy rate and all of that right there. But we don't need to take dangerous steps in any aspect right there to create any additional burdens on the police department than what they have right now. We need to make sure that we support the police department, that we are giving them the tools necessary and making it a job that we're able to recruit good qualified candidates to make sure that they're filling those positions. And when we do that right there, we're doing the best we can, but we don't need to create any other obstacles that could be a problem in making that happen.
Over the past several years, the Rome Florida Recycling Center has stopped accepting some kinds of plastic, glass, and other materials. Why are we seeing these limitations when our Bartow County neighbors continue to accept glass?
That's a good question. I've been told that glass is not a detriment to a landfill. So that's the information that I've heard right there, that crystallized and broken down properly, it can be a substantive part of a landfill. My wife and I, hate throwing away glass when we feel like we would be able to do something better with it, but that's been what I've told. And also with the recycling center, there was a hazard of people actually hurting themselves with broken glass on the lines.
All right. Please explain the benefit of entering into a contract with Paper Recovery to handle the city's recycling materials. How much will this contract cost the City of Rome each year?
That I do not have the answer to.
Okay.
Are you satisfied with the city transit system? Would you support a bus line going to Georgia Highlands campus to assist Rome students who have transportation needs?
I will tell you that I recently hosted a student from Medellin, Colombia, as part of the Rotary student program, the GRSP, Georgia Rotary Student Program. One of the things, she was at Berry during the course of this time, and one of the very first comments that she made was the lack of public transportation in this area. I see that coming from a great deal of college students, and I would support being able to get college students greater access to public transportation.
All right. Do you believe that the City of Rome is doing enough to protect its historic buildings and areas on the National Register and within the designated historic districts of the city?
I think they're doing an adequate job. I surely do.
Do you feel that a substantial number of low-income or minority Romans have a lack of trust for local government? If so, what might be done to help solve this problem?
A lot of times things like that can be done with conversation, listening, and truly reaching out and letting them know that all voices are heard. I think that failure to reach out and have those conversations with individuals, regardless of race, color, creed, or anything throughout the community, is a detriment. So we need to make sure that everyone feels that they have a voice in the way things are done in this city.
How would you suggest increasing the participation of young people in the process of local government and also encouraging them to vote?
That's really one of the biggest challenges we face right now, is getting people involved in the young people involved in the system so that they do feel like they do make a difference in what they're able to do at the polls. So I would encourage any form of internship to be done so that they can see part of the process and get them engaged early on so that they know their vote counts. Right now we're seeing an aging population in the voting population. We need to have young people understanding that they need to be part of the process.
Should Rome's mayor be elected by the citizens of Rome rather than selected by the commissioners?
I think in the current way the government is structured right now, the mayoral duties are okay to be elected by the Board of Commissioners because we have a city manager in place that handles a great deal of those duties. And the current structure is working pretty adequately right now. And until that changes or there is a different circumstance, I would recommend status quo.
All right. And this is our final question. If elected, would you be willing to have town hall meetings with citizens in the area you represent in order to discuss upcoming controversial issues? And are there other ways that you plan to communicate with your constituents?
I think that town hall meetings are a wonderful concept. The great thing about local government is you see the people you represent face to face on a daily basis. You're held accountable every day that you are serving in that position. So I do encourage anytime I can have an opportunity to hear their concerns and voice their concerns because I am representing them. Right now, I think town halls would be the best opportunity because face-to-face and conversations with them, again, goes back to the whole premise of when they are able to voice their concerns and they understand you're listening, then you're representing properly.
All right. Well, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you very much.
Randy Quick. So we have interviewed a number of our candidates for Rome City Commission, and the election is November 7, I believe, November 7. And I believe there's going to be an early voting period as well. So it's something, as we've said in a couple of our other segments, the local elections sometimes affect us more obviously in our day-to-day lives than the national elections do. So it's very important not to let this election go.
Well, access. I mean, you have access to local officials. You have access to people that wanting to be elected and represent you. And I think this is why I get excited, because this is the time to ask questions of people who are saying, hey, I want to represent you. To ask them the questions that you really have. Hold people that are incumbents accountable for the things they said they were going to do if they didn't do them, or give them credit for what they did. But the citizen republic has to become more involved in the voting process, and so I'm looking forward to the election. I think this time, I think everybody, regardless of how you feel, I just think more people are now attuned to the whole election, the voting and politics now than I think in a long time. So I think it's going to be interesting. And I think the fact that we have so many people running in this election, the city commission and the school board election, that shows you that people are attuned and are listening and people have concerns, and that to me excites me, because to me that's when our democracy is at its best, when people are saying, everyday citizens are saying, I'm willing to put myself out there to be a representative. So I'm excited about it.
I think the SPLOST will bring some interest to the election.
Oh yeah, that's just, oh yes.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank all of you for joining us on Community Watch. I hope you consider your votes very carefully, listen to all the answers, and do your homework. And don't forget the election. And we'll be covering other aspects of the election coming up, so look for them. Thanks again. We'll see you next time on Community Watch.